In front of us, we have a nice variety of plants that you can commonly see in most Nebraska area pastures. And another way you could explain that is ecosystems. An ecosystem involves a variety of animals that will probably, and other organisms that are interacting in the environment. And plants are part of those ecosystems. Monarch butterflies, bumblebees, and other pollinators are part of that ecosystem as well. So to give you a better idea of some of the plants that we'll be working with for our experiment, you need to see and understand what the difference is between a grass and a forb. So this has several examples of the plants we're using for the experiment. The first plant are the forbs, and we'll be using verbenas, which is right here. If you look really closely, that's what the seed head of a verbena looks like. We'll be using silverleaf scurf pea, goldenrods, which is right here in the image, goldenrods, milkweeds, and heath aster. And if you remember, the way to remember heath aster is Heath asked her. Then the grasses will be using our switchgrass, big blue stem, little blue stem, and there's switchgrass right there. Indian grass, which is right next to switchgrass like here, and buffalo grass, which is not included in this image. Over here is big blue stem. The main difference between a grass and a forb is that a grass is a monocot, meaning that it has parallel leaf veins, and it's usually simpler in its structure. So here, this is an example, your big blue stem. If you look at it real closely, it's very simple. There's veins going straight up and down, and a pretty simple seed head. There's no flower on that seed head. Versus a forb, goldenrod is an example of a forb here. You've got a little more complicated seed head, and it's a flower. Obviously, you've got every plant flowers, but it's prettier to look at. And you'll also notice that usually forbs are more colorful, and they tend to have sturdier stems compared to a grass. Another forb that's usually pretty popular with pollinators is verbenas, as well as goldenrods. So your bumblebees and butterflies, you can see them a lot on those forbs. They prefer typically plants that have more of a flowering structure. This is a gay feathers, which would be a forb. This is a prairie coneflower, which is also a forb. Forbs tend to do a lot better job with their structure being more complex, and that's something that pollinators like to see. And they do pollinate with grasses, but the color draws the insect to them. So when we work with our butterflies, this is your background knowledge, so you've got a little bit better idea. Now, one thing we don't know yet is which forb they prefer, and depending on the situation, they still might visit a grass. So something like little blue stem, or switchgrass, or Indian grass. They might still visit them more. It's going to depend, and we're going to conduct our experiment and test this hypothesis to find out.